welcome back. Did you know that Catholic moms cry? Yeah, we do. The other day I was mentioning, kind of casually, that I was crying about something, and that wasn't even the point of the story. And the person I was talking to said, "What? You cry?" And I know that she didn't really think that I never cried. But I think she was surprised that I was so freely talking about crying over something that wasn't actually a huge deal. And I said, "Oh, I cry a lot." And then I paused and I thought, well, what's a lot mean? I'm sure I don't know. And because I'm a coach, I pay attention to words now and what my brain thinks. So I don't know what a lot is. But I want to say 3 times a week. And a couple things. One, I cry a lot more since I became a mom. I mean, becoming a mom just like broke my heart open and made me so much more sensitive. I think in a good way. Sometimes it bubbles up, not in the way that I want, but in a good way. I just am filled with so much more love and compassion, and I'm just literally more sensitive to things going on in the world. If you aren't sure about that, go watch some of the movies that you watched when you were teenagers. And now that you're a mom, you'll be like, oh my goodness, I feel so bad for her parents. Where were the adults in this movie? And like everything just feels so different. Movies when you're a parent. And the news, right? I mean, I watched the news before, probably not a ton, but now as a parent, it's just different. I view everything through a different lens. But then beyond being just a mom, and I think that was one of the reasons that really kind of broke me open and made me emotional. And again, I don't consider that a bad thing all of the time. But also, we have hormones. Did you know that? We have a lot of hormones. We experience a cyclical hormonal shift. For some of us, it's regular. For some of us, it's not regular. But even just hormonally, our body shifts, and sometimes the product of that is crying a little bit more. I don't totally know the science about that, but I know it's true. And I'm a lot more weepy when I'm pregnant. And then sometimes I cry because I'm tired. I've noticed that now. Now I've made that connection so clearly in my brain. If I'm crying about something, and even while I'm crying, my thinking brain is like, hey, love, this is a little ridiculous. I've learned to be like, maybe it's not a problem that they didn't have the kind of almond milk that I like at the store. Maybe you're just tired. I'm not sure I'd cry over that. I was trying to think of an example. Like if I was tired and I wanted some almond milk and I went to the store and they didn't have it, and I cried, it would be something like, I knew it, the food supply isn't working. I'm never going to be able to be healthy. See, they make it so hard to be healthy. And now I have to drive to another store. I'm never going to have enough time to spend with my kids. Okay? When we're tired, a normally neutral circumstance, like not having the thing that you want at the store, is not a big deal and you pivot. But when you're exhausted, and we can be physically exhausted, and mentally exhausted, and emotionally exhausted, so many levels, you might just burst into tears. Your body just may need like this release. It isn't about the almond milk. Okay? So I would like to create a culture that doesn't think that crying is terrible, or that something's very wrong, or that you're too emotional, right? Like there's just a certain baseline of women having big hearts and being emotional and crying, and that's not a problem, in my opinion. Now we want to pay attention to, am I tired a lot? Am I crying more than I think I should be crying because I'm really just exhausted? Any one of those ways. Am I crying a lot because something actually is wrong with my hormones? Right? You might want to get that checked out. You might go, for me, I'm crying a lot more than I used to. Why is that? So I use it kind of as data. I don't think crying in and of itself is like a huge red flag, but I pay attention to how often I'm crying or why I'm crying and what's coming up. And if I was like crying in the store over almond milk, I would just be like, maybe we need to sleep a little bit more. That's it. I don't even need like a huge, and maybe just tomorrow. Get to bed on time, take a nap tomorrow. Not everything has to be huge and dramatic, but let's normalize some amount of crying. I love being a sensitive mom. I love having a big heart. I love seeing things through the lens of being a mom and loving on people and wanting to protect my kids and loving Jesus. I always cry when I hear Carrie Underwood songs. That's okay to me. But I do pay attention when the crying ratchets up, right? Like, so I had postpartum depression with my second daughter, and that was an unusual level of crying. And we paid attention and we looked at it and we're like, what's going on here? So sometimes it is a sign that we've got to look at our life and what's going on in our hormones. But you all cry. If you told me you cried, I'd be like, yeah, you do. That's okay. I love you. I hope that helps you today. Thank you so much for listening, and have a blessed day. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Catholic Mom Mindset. To learn more about growing closer to the Holy Spirit, check out our free resources at madeforgreatness.co. Thank you so much for listening, and have a blessed day.